Hello friends and welcome back to another video where today we will be discussing how will SAURON / ANNATAR work in Eregion in the Rings of Power Season 2. This questioning comes to mind after seeing the teaser trailer for the second season, which shows the returning Charlie Vickers as SAURON but in Eregion and with a wig on, so seemingly a disguise. But is that the full story here, or is there more to it? Let's discuss. Make sure to like and subscribe, but starting off, the big thing here is when in the timeline of the season do all these scenes appear. But firstly, let's summarize all the SAURON Eregion related scenes from the teaser. Firstly, we have SAURON in the courtyard of Eregion, walking menacingly with elves running in the background. Then we have SAURON appearing from the light in front of potentially Celebrimbor. Then we have SAURON having the guards fight off against each other, and then finally a scene of him facing Celebrimbor, who is seemingly quite injured. So we will be covering a few theories as to how this will all work, with Charlie Vickers' SAURON form returning to Eregion. The first theory is that he helps Celebrimbor forge the other rings of power, which clearly will happen this season as seen in this shot here. So maybe he just simply convinces Celebrimbor to trust him again, and maybe one way could be by convincing him that he is an emissary of the Valar, or this angelic being which can be trusted. And maybe this scene here where he appears from the light, which eerily by the way looks quite similar to when the barrier of Valinor closes at the end of episode 1, which again could link to the emissary of the Valar shtick, could be him pronouncing himself to Celebrimbor as a godly being, and that's why Celebrimbor ends up trusting him then, for example, over Galadriel, or just blindly following him because you're seeing some almost godly like being right in front of you appearing with all this light around him. The second version is that this Charlie Vickers ANNATAR form does not create the Rings of Power with Celebrimbor, and instead the shots we see of him in the trailer is him during and after Eregion has been sacked by Adar and his army. So here, when he arrives from the light, is instead his reveal scene that he is indeed SAURON, and then the subsequent fights follow with the guards and with Celebrimbor being injured. This theory would encompass another form of SAURON being there to potentially forge the rings, or maybe Celebrimbor just does it on their own and Amazon puts that bit of the lore to the side. This theory would have to of course accompany those two things alongside it. Another theory is that this SAURON Charlie Vickers form is only recognizable to us, the audience, and not the characters in the show who are under some sort of enchantment or spell. This is because, as you can see in the scene where SAURON forces the guards to fight each other, in the show's canon he seemingly does have some manipulation abilities over beings, so maybe he uses this to veil his Halbrand face until the reveal scene, or the audience gets to see the true self the whole time but the characters see something else. Another simpler theory is that the elves and Celebrimbor just simply don't recognize him as Halbrand, because Charlie Vickers' character now has a wig with blonde hair and potentially elf-like ears and is in a completely different costume. From the get-go it might sound a bit funny and silly due to the Clark Kent Superman comparisons, but some people did ask, quote, has SAURON been recast, or who is this new SAURON actor, when asking who the new SAURON form is on the poster, so it did fuel and confuse some of us already. So maybe it could also then confuse Celebrimbor, who seemingly only met him for about half an hour, so maybe he just simply doesn't remember. Another theory is the flashback theory, which suggests that some of the scenes we see of SAURON are flashback scenes, and this light scene is when he first appears to Celebrimbor before the events of season 1, and that is why it looks like he might be wearing a different costume to the black and gold one we see him rock while the Saga Eregion is happening later on. Or is it when he returns again in the present day to Celebrimbor to reveal that he was Sauron all along and he got fooled. So basically, does he come pre-season 1 or does he come to say that he is Sauron all along in season 2? Out of those two, what is this scene of him returning with the light? And then we apply the Clark Kent theory to this, which is that when Halbrand met Celebrimbor at the end of season 1, Celebrimbor didn't put together that this is the same ANNATAR form he saw before the events of season 1. This might explain why he trusted Halbrand so much and got that instant connection to him, because he had technically met him before and is feeding into again the same presence and aura of ANNATAR that fooled him the first time, but this time through the human Halbrand form, even though it's technically the same thing, and that's why he gets fooled twice, once before season 1 and once again now when he returns in season 2. Another scenario is where Galadriel told Celebrimbor that Halbrand cannot be trusted, but out of guilt or embarrassment or not wanting to worry everyone, didn't tell him that he was Sauron, but still stated that he was trouble and shouldn't be allowed back. But instead, when ANNATAR returns and Celebrimbor knows he was instructed not to trust him and let him back, he still does, because of his own ambition, intrigue and desire to carry on creating, and make stuff of majesty and effectively ignore Galadriel's warning, because remember, he even said that he feels nothing in comparison to Feanor and compared himself to him and what he had accomplished so far. And again, even in season 1 episode 8, when Galadriel told Celebrimbor basically how can you trust Halbrand so quickly, Celebrimbor starts talking about the unseen world and the potential there, so maybe there is a part of himself that is intrigued to this. So, whether it is the Charlie Vickers form that ends up forging the rings or not is the very big question here, and it will be interesting to see which one you guys would prefer. Let us know in the comments below. Would you prefer Charlie Vickers Sauron form forging the rings with Celebrimbor, or the Charlie Vickers Sauron form with the disguise, so us the viewers and the characters see a different face to Charlie Vickers' one, but the audience, us, know that it is actually Sauron's face, but the characters in the show don't know, so it's almost like a ticking time bomb in a way. Some have even suggested that this shot here of Sauron is Charlie Vickers' face morphed and edited on top of it, so maybe the trailer is hiding the real actor, or the face is morphing at that moment in the show and we're seeing that shape-shifting ability happen in real time. The way the Sauron plot works in Eregion and how Celebrimbor gets fooled is probably one of the biggest things on the line for the show, as it's central to everything that has happened so far, and if done well can be excellent, but can also come off really poorly or if lazily or incorrectly done, and people's initial fears of how Celebrimbor either doesn't recognize him or gets fooled by him twice doesn't get adequately solved or resolved. But the good thing is we are seeing Sauron in Eregion and rings being forged. Having a blonde, beautiful, angelic ANNATAR form is stuff fans have been claiming they've been wanting to see for ages now, etc. But now they actually do have it in the form of this trailer here. So it will be interesting to see how things work out and if people change their minds in any ways. I saw some people even mentioning why couldn't we have just had this from season 1. It's interesting to see how the difference in opinion is around that. But that is going to be it just for today's video. I'm sure there's going to be so much more discussion happening over the next weeks and months leading up to the August 29th premiere of the Rings of Power Season 2, which will have a 3-episode premiere, all dropping on the same day. I know this will be the first video of many. Let me know what you guys else want us to discuss about. I'll make an in-depth breakdown video like this looking at so many different theories. I'll be more than happily more than happily to do this for you guys. But thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate it. Make sure to like and subscribe. But until the next video, my friends, goodbye.